understand how and why Kit broke the game, we need to go back to December 28, 2023, the day Kit was released. Kit was the second brawler to be released into the game behind the early access feature. This was a new monetization system Supercell was trying out. This is believed to have come about because of the removal of Brawl Boxes. Without Brawl Boxes, Supercell would take a massive hit to their potential earnings. This early access feature would allow you to spend between $15 and $35 to unlock the new brawler depending on the rarity. This new concept was met with mixed emotions, with some free-to-play players being frustrated by how strong the new brawlers would be during the early access. It seemed like as soon as everyone got their hands on the new brawler, it would quickly receive multiple nerfs, completely changing the power and playstyle of the brawler. While the first early access brawler, Chuck, was certainly strong, the skill ceiling was so high that he wouldn't see much use outside of Heist. This was completely different for the legendary brawler Kit. During his early access, Kit would be unstoppable in every single mode. Before we talk about how broken Kit was, we should first understand how the brawler is played. Kit is the first legendary support brawler. On release, Kit had 6000 HP at power level 11. His basic attack is a swipe similar to BB's attack that has a 3.3 tile range. It has an incredibly fast unload and reload speed, making him good for bursting down enemies. His super is where he earns his legendary status. Kit could charge a super in 5 hits, and that might sound like a lot for a brawler for such a short range. However, just like Edgar and Daryl, he has a passive supercharge. His super allows him to leap through the air just over 6 tiles and latch onto either friendly or enemy brawlers. The super has a radius of just under 3 tiles, so he does not need to land directly on the brawler. Obviously, the outcome of landing on an enemy instead of a friendly would yield different results. Landing on an enemy would deal 2000 damage instantly. Kit would deal an additional 250 damage for each second he was on the enemy. Since Kit could stay latched onto an enemy for 2 seconds, he would deal 2500 damage if he landed his super. On top of this, Kit would stun the enemy brawler he was latched onto for the duration of his super. Kit would be impervious to damage while he was on an enemy brawler, meaning if the enemy Kit jumped onto you, there was nothing you or anyone else could do to stop it. If Kit lands on a friendly brawler instead of an enemy brawler, he will heal the brawler he is attached to. Kit could stay attached to a friendly brawler for 10 seconds, healing his teammate for 10% of their maximum HP per second at power level 11. Kit would also instantly gain full supercharge, which he could use to dismount early. If Kit stayed attached to a friendly brawler for 10 seconds, he would dismount with a fully charged super, allowing him to jump right back onto his teammate or an enemy brawler. While attached to a friendly brawler, Kit would have a different main attack. This attack would throw balls of yarn that dealt 2000 damage at power level 11. Kit was released with 2 star powers and 2 gadgets. His first star power, Power Hungry, would give him an additional 200% power from each power cube in Showdown. This could also be used in the unlimited power modifier for the Mega Pig event. His second star power, Overly Attached, allowed him to remain attached to a friendly brawler for 5 seconds longer, increasing the duration of a friendly super from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. His first gadget, Cardboard Box, allowed him to go invisible for 5 seconds and increased his supercharge rate by 100%. His second gadget, Cheeseburger, heals himself and a friendly brawler he is attached to for 40% of their maximum HP. Now, if you have a brain, you might be thinking that Kit sounds incredibly broken, and you would be right. One of the most effective support brawlers that still had offensive prowess, a brawler that could leap over walls onto weakened enemies just like Edgar, only he would stun the brawler in place for 2 seconds. A brawler that can wait for his super to be charged for free. A brawler that can pop a Leon super at the click of a button. Yeah, what could go wrong?
To an enemy? Yeah, you just chain the supers. I got what you mean.
Stun lock them. It's just insanely broken. So I don't even have to pick the easiest target. Of course, Dynamite's going to be the freest kill. I'm just going to jump on him. Jump on Amazy as well.
For that, okay, this Cordelius has no idea what's about to happen, and he's dead. Goodbye.
Kit was unstoppable shortly after his release. His power-hungry star power made him arguably one of the best brawlers in Showdown. If you did not have a Kit in solo or duo Showdown, you lost. His supercharge rate also scaled with the amount of power cubes he had. This meant after collecting only a few power cubes, Kit's super would instantly recharge after landing on an enemy. This allowed him to permanently stunlock a single enemy or frenzy around the map, eliminating all of the enemy teams. This onslaught was unbearable for many. It made Showdown impossible to play if you were not running a kit. And if you were, then there was an RNG game. The kit that had the most power cubes off spawn would almost guarantee themselves a Showdown win. If being dominant in Showdown wasn't enough, he also rampaged through almost every other game mode. Kit was incredibly strong in every game mode, but especially in Knockout. Kit paired with any tank in the game would be nearly impossible to beat if you did not have a hard counter. The 84 brawlers in the game, only 2 of them could knock Kit off of his teammate. These 2 brawlers were Charlie and Cordelius. If you were not running either of these brawlers and you did not have a kit of your own, you would lose. The game was virtually unplayable, and this was only the first week of Kit's lifetime on Brawl Stars. On January 4th, 2020, Kit became available in the Starr Road. Now the barrage of Kit players was even greater, Showdown lobbies filled with Kits. Now lobbies were just like the week prior except 10 times worse. It would only take Supercell 7 days to bring the nerf hammer down on Kit. On January 11th, 2024, Kit would receive 4 nerfs, along with some bug fixes. Kit's main attack damage while attached to a friendly brawler was decreased from 2,000 down to 1,600. The number of hits required to charge his super while in his alternate form was increased from 2 to 3. Now Kit would no longer be impervious to damage while he was attached to an enemy brawler. As well as this, he could no longer attach to brawlers within a respawn bubble. These nerfs seemed a little harsh, but were still justified. After the series of nerfs, Kit's pick rates would drop in every single mode. He still saw a lot of action in Showdown and Knockout, however. Kit paired with a healer and a tank was incredibly obnoxious comp in Knockout. The longer Kit was in the game, the more people adjusted to playing against him. This team composition style is still viable today. It has completely changed the way players think about playing Knockout. There is always the chance for an enemy team to be running a Kit comp. Kit was in a bit of an awkward state. He was only seen in Showdown because of the power-hungry star power, and in Knockout because he synergized well with the tank comps. Supercell would attempt to make him a little more viable in other game modes by reworking him. On April 23, 2024, Kit would receive 4 buffs and 1 nerf. His main attack damage was increased from 800 to 1000 at power level 1. The number of hits required to charge his super was decreased to 4 instead of 5. His super damage was buffed from 800 to 1000 as well. And lastly, his passive supercharge rate was increased by 25%. The only nerf would come to his cardboard box gadget, bringing the duration from 5 seconds down to 3 seconds. These changes were an attempt to make playing Kit a little more flexible. This allowed him to be somewhat of a threat in his base form instead of just being a Showdown and Knockout warrior. I think this was a healthy change for the game. A legendary brawler should feel legendary in my opinion. Making Kit stronger across the board without attempt to balance him out in his strongest game modes is problematic. Supercell realized this, and on June 25th, 2024, Kit's power-hungry star power was nerfed, going from 200% power-up boost down to 150%. This was a good change in my opinion. I'm not sure how I feel about star powers or gadgets that only work in specific game modes. Kit's final balance change would come on August 27th, 2024. His cheeseburger gadget would be nerfed from 40% healing down to 30% healing. These 2 changes would help tone down the obnoxious Kit strategies. You might be thinking this would be a good place to leave Kit. With no more balance changes, how much more damage could he do to the game? Let me introduce you to Season 30 of Brawl Stars. In the Brawl Talk premiering on August 24th, 2024, the team would announce the Spongebob and Brawl Stars event. This event would bring a variety of limited time features including new skins, game modes, and most significantly, limited time power-ups. There were 7 different classes of power-ups. Krabby Patties were for tanks, Clockwork Clarinet for sharpshooters, Spatula for assassins, Doodle Pineapple for artillery brawlers, Bubble for control brawlers, Chum Balls for damage dealers, and lastly, Kelp Soda. Each power-up would have 3 different levels, getting increasingly more powerful with each level. For the sake of this video, we will only focus on Kelp Soda, which was for Kit's class, Support. There was nothing too significant about the power-up until you had it level 3. At its max level, a support brawler would spawn a power cube after using a super. If you played this event, you already know where this is going. A new, low-effort strategy for wins was created in the new Trio Showdown mode, where power-ups were always active, your team would walk to the closest corner of the map and allow the storm to damage you. The kelp soda effect from the support brawler would heal you and your team up and charge the super as well. Once you had a super, you would super onto your teammates, healing them more and spawning a power cube. And you would just rinse and repeat for as long as possible. This meant players could walk into the final showdown with north of 40 cubes without facing a single enemy. This strategy worked the best with Barry, Poco, and of course Kit. It worked so well for Kit because he could super once to get onto a teammate and then a second time to get off of his teammate. This along with his cardboard box gadget, which boosted his super charge rate by 100% for 3 seconds, made it incredibly easy to ramp up in Trio Showdown. This strategy broke the game again for the entirety of Season 30. It would not take long for every team in the lobby to be running some combination of Barry, Kit, and Poco. Kit was no stranger to low skill win strategies, but this was an all-time low. Players that had never achieved rank 30 were now pushing Kit all the way to rank 35. Since there were only 4 teams and 3rd place did not count as a loss, this was a super easy way to push your support brawlers higher than ever. Luckily for all of us, this was just a limited time mode. However, there are some Kit strategies that will probably never go away. Kit has been in the game for a little less than a year and has already had one of the most obnoxious runs in Brawl Stars history. I think these kind of problems are more likely to stem from legendary brawlers that introduce new mechanics into the game. There are just too many factors that cannot be considered when the devs are making it and playtesting it. Whether you feel love or hate for Kit, it is likely a strong emotion. Love him or hate him, one thing is for certain, Kit changed Brawl Stars forever.